I think there is different stages in life
Yeah.
when you live abroad, right? I mean, I went abroad as a bachelor.
Yeah.
I went to Asia. The first country you go to, sort of foreign country.
Yeah.
Uh, I still think you leave a part of your heart behind there somehow because get some different impressions, and you
Yeah.
are still very open for new things. But when you get a family, you
Yeah.
want to be in a place where you can make sure that they can get a good education. There's sports available. There's good friends around. Those things are important.
That's fantastic. Good to know because I say a lot of people, I think, fall into that category. You know, that people that rather have the calmness of Sotogrande, the greenery of Sotogrande, the low density of Sotogrande, with the ability to just drive down the road. Today's guest is someone who has truly made Sotogrande home. From an international career spanning Hong Kong and Dubai to building and selling villas here, and now living in Hacienda Valderrama and launching a boating business in the marina, Tom brings a unique perspective on what it means to choose Sotogrande and build a life around it. Tom, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much, Charlie.
Okay, good. Look, and thank you for having me on this wonderful boat of yours, which, the location is fantastic. We'll get onto that as we start talking. Can you perhaps, before we get into it, tell people a little bit about your background, where you're from, why you're here in Sotogrande, how did you land here?
Of course, my pleasure. My background is that I was born in Denmark, in a small town outside Copenhagen, where I lived basically throughout my youth. I went to school there. I graduated with a a business degree from there as well. And at that time I was 17 years old, and I wanted to go abroad and experience different cultures. It's always sort of been in my DNA that I wanted to try and get out and work.
A true Viking.
One could say that maybe.
Well, they went all over the place, didn't they?
Very true indeed. Very true indeed. So I applied to 3 Danish international companies, a brewery, and 2 shipping companies at that time.
Right.
And I went into AP Møller Maersk Line as an apprentice.
Do you regret not getting to the brewery one? The brewery one might have been a lot of fun.
Indeed, yes. But funnily enough, we were 2 friends who applied to the same companies. I got rejected in the brewery and got accepted to the AP Møller.
Right.
He got rejected by AP Møller, but got into the brewery.
Okay.
So obviously we must have had some different traits.
Yeah, so you got the boats and he got the beer. So you went happily.
I was probably the sober one of the 2 of us,
Very good. All right, sorry, so I interrupted you. You started college and then you went into shipping.
Correct, yes, that's right, which is, of course, an international business where you have opportunities to move abroad.
Yeah.
And I finished my apprenticeship after 2 years, and then I went into the Danish Navy for a year. I was subscribed into that.
Was that obligatory, or was it like a
No, that
national
was
service?
national service.
National service, okay.
But not for everyone. I mean, you had some people would go free because there was only a limited number who got subscribed, and I happened to be one of those who did not go scot-free. Apparently, I was healthy enough to join the Navy. So I enjoyed that in a way, and then got back, and then I went to Hamburg as my first posting abroad in Germany, obviously, and thereafter I went to Asia, Korea, Japan as well, Hong Kong, where I spent 11 years in different locations. Yeah. And from Hong Kong to Dubai. Yeah. Spent 4 years there, and then from Dubai to Malta. A short stint there, very short, looking after the Mediterranean there for the company I work for, Asia. And then on to Switzerland for, again, a short stint. And then I changed company and went to Estonia for 4 years as managing director for Estonian National Shipping Company, which was privatized at that time. Right. So it was called ESCO. And spent 4 years there, very exciting times. Just gone out of the Soviet Union as an independent country. And thereafter went to Kuwait 2001. And then Dubai in 2005. And then spent the next 13 years in Dubai. So altogether, about 19 years, 18, 19 years in the Middle East.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot of movement. I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people who've traveled a lot, and I think you may have pipped me because I've lived in 14 different countries all over the world. And, you know, you mentioned about that there, you know, it's a lot of traveling. When you do travel, though, but that gives you a different perspective, doesn't it? You're a Dane, and if you'd remained in Denmark, you would have been a very different person to the one you are today, I would have thought. Similarly, I traveled all over the world, and I think the traveling is something which makes you very different to your local, your national country. Your eyes are unblinkered. You know different cultures. You've tasted different foods. You know different music. You don't, you know, different temperatures of weathers and all of that. Do you agree with me on that or not?
I fully agree with
Yeah.
you on that. I think either you are truly international, you enjoy it, and you are capable of making a home wherever you are.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed moving on, meeting new people, new jobs, new responsibilities, as well as creating a new home
Yeah.
wherever you
Yeah.
are.
I mean, it's also the nuclear family you've left back home, your brothers and sisters, if you have any, your parents, because, you know, when you left, you were quite young, so probably they were around. You know, that's a difficult thing as well. So you always seem to go back, but still, you know, you the more you're away, the more you become independent, I felt.
The more you become independent, but also in a way, the more you become a stranger as well.
Yeah.
In your own home country, to some extent, because it is sometimes difficult to explain what you do when you are
Yeah.
living abroad to somebody who has always lived
Yeah.
in a local environment back home,
Yeah,
so to speak.
yeah, yeah. And when you go back home, your friends, they haven't moved on. They've stayed together. They've, you know, and they don't have your perspective of life, and it's very different. And I found that a shock a little when I went back to Chile, and I met old friends, and all of a sudden there was a different perspective on life, you know. And it wasn't them that changed; it's you.
Correct. No, I fully agree
You're
with
the one
that.
that's
Yes,
different. Yeah, you've seen things different. Anyway, very interesting that we have a similar sort of background from a traveling point of view, at least. So, of all those places that you lived, where were you most at ease, happy? Because presumably along the line, well, I know because Felix, who's doing all of this for us, is your son. So I know you have children. You know, different types, at different times, you have the family growing up. You know, and that can be a bit of a struggle in terms of education, and do they keep them there? Do you send them back home? How did you work on that? I mean, Felix turned out all right, just. You know?
I think there is different stages in life
Yeah.
when you live abroad, right? I mean, I went abroad as a bachelor.
Yeah.
I went to Asia. The first country you go to, sort of foreign country.
Yeah.
I still think you leave a part of your heart behind there somehow because you get so many different impressions and you are still very open for new things. And, so Korea for me, being when I was very young, was probably the most fascinating country I lived in and where I have the best memories from. But I lost some good memories anyhow. I love Japan too, but apart from that. But when you get a family, you want to be in a place where you can not provide for the family in terms of financially, but make sure that they can get a good education. There's sports available. There's good friends around. Those things are important. Good friends as well, both for your children as well as for yourself, family. And Dubai for us gave us probably that continuity as well because we stayed there for many years.
Yeah.
I mean, Phil was born in Kuwait and then moved over to Dubai at a very young age. Mia was born my daughter was born in Dubai, and they basically went through school there, went to a very, very good school.
Yeah.
And we were very happy there as well as a family, partly because of the school and the friends who made through school, as well as through rugby and other sports activities the children had.
Right. So presumably you're here in Sotogrande because you've retired, is that right? You're retired from the businesses or are you sort of still involved in your shipping career?
No, I must say that today I am retired from the shipping business.
Yeah, so coming here, why Sotogrande? How did you find Sotogrande itself?
We love Sotogrande, and how did we get here? It was a little bit of a journey, but not a long journey though. We lived in Dubai. That time was probably about 2013, 14. And we as a family start talking about at some point in time, we would have to go back to Europe somewhere. Not necessarily Scandinavia. My wife is Norwegian, or Denmark for that matter. But the children at that time was not very keen on that, and we were quite happy in a way because we had been used to a climate, where the sun rises early. It basically shines every day. You have pleasant temperatures throughout most of the year. Not the full year, but most of the year.
I know. I've been in Dubai many times.
So we talked about then Greece, Italy, Spain, France, and then we as a family said, okay, let's try Spain. It appealed to us for a number of reasons, at least at that time remotely. The food and the people and so forth and so on. So we bought a flat then in Estepona. Where we spent some of our holidays there. And we got to love Spain.
So you kept coming and going?
We kept coming and going from Dubai, So twice a year we normally be here in Estepona. Not be here, but in Estepona. And then in 2016, we decided that we would start looking for permanent residence in Spain, in Costa del Sol. And we wanted to look further south. We didn't want to look in the other direction. We didn't want to look towards Portobello, Marbella, but rather a bit south, either Estepona or further south.
Why not Marbella? Why down this way?
For us, it was a question of a number of things. It was the lifestyle. We thought perhaps it was a little bit, for us, we looked for some more, let's say, quiet, subdued lifestyle, which we didn't believe we would find in Marbella as such. We liked Estepona, but we also wanted a good school for the kids, which of course always is on the forefront of the minds of parents. So we looked at schools in Estepona, we looked at schools, good schools there as well, schools in Marbella, we looked at schools here in Sotogrande. And we found SIS, and we started comparing results, etc. And it appeared to us that SIS here, Sotogrande International School, offered the best, let's say, education for our children, let's put it that way.
No, that is, it's very reflective of what people tell me all the time about how they discovered it, because in many ways, Sotogrande is a discovery place. You don't suddenly say, let's go to Sotogrande. People that are looking for property in Spain would look for Spain, would look within Spain where, maybe the Costa del Sol or Costa Blanca. At the end of the Costa del Sol, they may know Malaga, but definitely maybe know Marbella. And once you know Marbella, then you start looking around there. So no one really starts their search by Sotogrande, and it's a discovery place. And I'm sure you discovered it as you came on holidays and maybe came down for the polo and then went back, and different things. So it's interesting that people still doing what you went through, and now sort of make this your permanent home. As I assume it's your permanent home. I'm not. Maybe you have another home back home in Denmark, but I'm assuming it's your permanent home. But yeah, and the school has always been a magnet for many people because it's a particularly good school. I'm told I have no experience of it, but although my daughter says a little bit, she said, I got a grandchild now, and she says, look, maybe we could try and come and live near Sotogrande because of the school, not so much be next to me, because of the school, which is a very important decision, of course, because, it is, what forms your child going forward. So what about getting into property and buying a house and everything like that? Did you sell Estepona and come here, or did you find somewhere to live here first before you sold Estepona, or maybe you still have Estepona? I don't know.
No, what happened was when we first made the decision to move to Sotogrande, we put the apartment in Estepona in the market and sold that, and we started then looking for properties here in Sotogrande. And we looked probably at about 50 different properties, I would think, and we have certain criteria me and my wife, we looked for, and we didn't find exactly what we were looking for. We saw many very interesting and nice properties, but not the one we really said, this is where we want to live long term.
Right.
So what was the alternative then? That was then to start building yourself.
Right.
And Then started looking at plots.
Okay.
And we looked at quite a number of plots, not the same amount of plots as the number of houses though, but found a plot with a lovely view. The only abatabay that was there was that the owner was the owner of two plots, the adjacent plot as well.
Yeah.
So the plot we found had a lovely view over the lake. We could see the So Hotel of the golf course up there. So we wanted to buy that, but the owner said, you know, sorry, you buy two plots, not one plot. So yeah, you can't have the one without the other. So that was a bit of a bummer there.
Right.
But then we decided to buy both plots. Originally, we then said, okay, we're going to build one house there. But then suddenly started thinking, you know, why not build two? I mean, there has to be, like in so many other businesses, I mean, scales should count for a little bit. So since they're adjacent to each other, the plots, I mean, the mobilization, the delivery of materials, you start with one thing, the
economies of scale from doing two for
instead of one, right? That's what I meant.
One crane, so two cranes.
Exactly, and so forth and so on, right? So we then went out and got tenders for instead of for one house, for two houses.
Yeah.
And at that time, when we built in 2000, started in 2000, late 17, 18, it was finished in 19, early 19. One of them, the other one, late 19, or August 19. The savings were probably around 15-20% compared to building one house. So it was a worthwhile, let's say, investment to make.
So this was obviously before COVID, because I remember you were stuck in Hong Kong during COVID, weren't you?
Correct.
Yeah.
That was my last posting.
That was your last posting, yeah. And the family was here. So you were I remember Monica, your wife, you know, coming and crying, "Oh, Tom is not."
That would be news to me.
But no, you know, because after COVID, of course, materials went up. The cost of materials went a lot up. You know, and you finished just before, so
That's right.
Yeah. And
so I was probably lucky.
You're very lucky.
Yes.
I should say, absolutely, because building costs went up. You know, the timelines obviously very, very, very bad for everybody. Would you do it again?
I probably would, yes, if I could find the right plot or plots, in other words.
Yeah. No, because the experience is, it's like, you know, the first time you do something.
It was not a bad experience. Of course, you have challenges.
Yeah.
Goes without saying. My wife managed the last part of it, together, of course, with the architect. And I was remotely involved most of the time.
Yeah.
So it is not easy. And there's challenges with delays, weather delays.
I think there's no story of building a house without something.
No,
you know,
correct.
Something must happen. Are there any mistakes that you maybe did that you would say I've learned something in terms of building a property here in Sotogrande?
I think we were lucky in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know regrets, as I mentioned. I don't really think, I learned a lot for sure. I never built a house before.
Yeah.
So obviously, we have never built a house before. So we certainly learned a lot. But no regrets or whereas we made any big mistakes. But I think also that was partially due to the architect we had chosen at that time did a tremendous job. He was on the site every single day. He didn't live far away. He could actually, if he had had a pair of binoculars, he could have, you know, been following the process.
Who was the architect?
That was Javier Hochman.
Okay, the Argentinian chap.
Correct. That's right.
I know him. Yeah.
So he did a tremendous job, and I think also partially because he knew that I was not present.
There. Yeah.
So Monica was running everything on her own. So I think he probably took extra care of us. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of the people that come here don't understand the aparejador. You know, you have the architect and then the aparejador, which is the technical architect. And that's something I see in Spain. I don't see it in the UK, for example. You know, there's the architect, he's in charge of everything, and he's the one that goes every day. But here's that thing. And I think Javier does a bit of both, you know, so he's involved, he's there, he likes to, you know, it's good, excellent. It's really nice. So you would do it again, and it wasn't that painful an experience. So that's good to know, because I'm sure many listeners would be, you know, wondering what it's like to build your own house and you buy a plot and everything else. You know, it's a daunting thing. You know, you need to have some sort of I don't know whether it's business background or some idea of how this could go, because it can go pear-shaped, of course.
There is a risk, of course, always a risk, certainly. So we want to have to prepare for that. And also, like I said, delays and everything else. I mean, if you plan then to sell the next house or the second house, rent it out, suddenly it might be, half a year, 9 months later, and you still don't have any income, right? So you have to be financially, let's say, prepared to support a delay like that.
Yeah. What about other things? Coming to live in Sotogrande, I mean, you found the school, you found where to live. A lot of people need to have comfort with health. Where's the doctor? Where's the dentist? What can I do? You obviously are a sea person. You like boats, and that's your thing. Other people like their golf or their polo or their whatever. What would you say that were the key things that you needed to do? And I know you have a lot of experience because you moved a lot, but what would you suggest to people that was important when thinking about coming to live at like a place in Sotogrande?
For us, it was a number of things. There was the lifestyle, which we prefer to be a low-key lifestyle, which I think is what Sotogrande stands for in many ways.
Sure.
We love that. There was the education part of it, of course, also the sports part of it for the children and for grown-ups as well. I mean, for ourselves. I mean, you have the golf, you have
paddle,
the polo, you have paddle, you have tennis, you have horseback riding, and not least and most importantly, you also have the boating aspect. You have a lovely marina here. So I think it offers a lot. And that's what we liked about it, apart from the sunshine.
And you don't miss the shopping you get in Dubai or the shopping you get in Hong Kong.
Quite to the contrary. We're quite happy. So the low-key life, we don't need that.
What about like restaurants and all that sort of thing? Because a lot of people come here and say there aren't enough. And I mean, I just wonder how often people go out. Is it 3 times a week, 4 times a week, or do they just need to go once a week, or maybe once every fortnight?
I agree with you, and I find it that we have a decent selection here. We have, very good restaurants. I mean, we have the restaurant Blanca. We have Gansu Dos, which I think are excellent restaurants in my view. Of course, it's always in the eyes of the beholder. We have good tapas restaurants. We have restaurants along the promenade in the marina as well. So I think you have a wide variety here, and you certainly satisfy my needs. Let's put it that way. I don't go to Marbella for dinner or to Puerto Banús. I have no need for that.
That's fantastic. Good to know, because I say a lot of people, I think, fall into that category. That people that rather have the calmness of Sotogrande, the greenery of Sotogrande, the low density of Sotogrande, with the ability to just drive down the road.
You can do that as well.
And exactly. You go to daily shopping for whatever you want, clothes or whatever, and you got the big stores there and everything else. So it's
but you have the need for it. Of course, we do go to Marbella or to Puerto Banús, and you have the lovely Corte Inglés there. Plus, you have the individual shops too. So I mean, for us, the needs are very very well covered.
And the other way, I mean, people forget Algeciras and all that industrial zone there where you get to, everything to do ironmongery, or everything is there, that you need. And now you're living in Hacienda, or will be living in Hacienda. I think you sold the second house. And,
correct. That's right. And we are now in the process of moving in there. I just moved in.
And that would be different, or I mean, it's a big property, but it's still in an apartment block. Is that something that? With age, you prefer to have something that you don't have to mow the lawn and do all of that?
We would have the gardens to do that anyhow, right? So that's not really a problem. No, the main reason is simply that now when the young people, our children, has left basically the house, I mean, they have finished education here. The house was, I would say, getting empty, but we like to travel a bit more now. Then we have the independence, so to speak. We now have the boat club as well here, so we use a bit of time on the boat. So you always upkeep in a house. Whether you have a garden or a pool man, doesn't matter. Repairs, etc., etc.
So it's a lock up and easy to go.
That is the reason for it for us. Yes, correct.
And it's a very nice apartment. I mean, it's as big as any house I know. It's very
lovely indeed. Yes.
Moving on. How did you get into this business, the boat business? Tell us more about that.
When we moved to Spain when I came back to Spain from Hong Kong after the COVID and so forth and so on, we always wanted a boat. So I've been looking at boats on the net in Hong Kong because
had a lot of time.
I had a lot of time to do that during COVID, and I'd found a brand called De-Antonio Yachts,
Right.
which is a Spanish brand as well. Just happens to be that. I really like the lines of it and so forth and so on. And I took contact with them, and we bought then a D36 day boat from them. And about 6-8 months later, they approached me, or the dealer for Andalusia approached me and said, "Tom, would you be interested in starting a De-Antonio Day Boat Club in Sotogrande?" And I thought about that. I said, we have one in Mallorca already, but we'd like to open up as well in Andalusia. So after some deliberations, also in the family, and also including Felix, my son, we then decided that we thought that would be a good business opportunity.
Yeah. So how does it work? A boat club, a day boat club. How does it work?
Yeah, how it works is that you become a member of the club. You can then select to be a member. We have a D32, De-Antonio 32. We have a De-Antonio 36 and a De-Antonio 42.
These are different sizes.
Different sizes, correct. And we're sitting on the 42 now, which is the last in the fleet. So we take up to a maximum of 5 members on a particular size of boats. You then, when you join, we provide you with a hassle-free experience. You book the boat through the app, and you say, "I need it on next Friday." If the boat is available, you then book it. We will then prepare the boat 100%, covers off, engines are in the water.
Yeah.
You come down your boat, you sail off, provided you have a license, or we can provide you a captain if you don't have a license.
Okay.
You then go, you can then go to Tarifa, you can go to Malaga, you can go to Puerto Banús, or if you would like to go to Ceuta or to Morocco on a day trip or an overnighter, you can do that as well. And then when you come back, when you return, you say, "We'll be back around, let's say, 7 o'clock. Someone will be here to take care of you when you arrive." So basically, if you want to pack up and leave the boat as soon as you arrive and moor it, then you do that, and they will then wash down the boat and put covers on, so it's ready for the next morning if somebody goes out on the boat again. So it is totally hassle-free. You just book it, you come out and enjoy.
Sounds the sort of thing I'd like, because I love the idea of going on a boat, coming out and everything else, but looking after it is not my thing. And I know real boaties love to tinker on the boat and fix things and all that sort of thing. And but I think you get a lot more people coming if they didn't have to have that. And also, I suppose the investment isn't there.
Correct.
You don't have. I mean, I don't know how much this boat might cost, but it'd probably be a lot of money. And you're only buying weeks in the year or months in the year.
You buy a full year membership.
Full year membership
with 5 members on it.
But you have a right to go a certain amount of time, presumably.
Or you can use it for 50 hours.
50 hours
per annum, which is generally quite a lot.
50 engine hours.
Engine hours.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Yes, exactly.
So if I go out for 1 hour, half an hour, and back, that's 1 hour.
Correct. If you go to the Bay of Sardinia, just down the coast here, it takes you about 15 minutes from when you leave the pier until you arrive in the Bay of Sardinia, for example.
Okay.
So it'll be half an hour.
It'll be half an hour. Okay.
That's right. So theoretically, you do that.
Even though you've been out all day.
Yes, correct. You can do that 100 times a year, theoretically, if you only would do that trip every single time.
Yeah. Wow. So that's very interesting. And how's it going? I mean, is it being taken up? And people like the idea?
We are quite happy, yes.
Yeah?
There's still spaces for a few more on the boats, but we are quite happy with what we have experienced. This is our 2nd year now.
Right.
And when we started out, we had not done any marketing once we got the boat delivered.
Yep.
Of course, we got them late in the year. We got them in April last year. So this year we're doing a bit more marketing, and we are confident that we will achieve our business plan.
Wow. Just for the layperson like myself, this boat is what size?
This is the De-Antonio 42 open day boat.
So, and how many people you would be able to take on this one if you were taking it out for a day? If someone was a member, they would can they come here with 10 people, or would it be a 5 people boat? Or
this one can accommodate 12 people.
12,
including the captain. So if you're the captain, you have the license. You can invite 11 guests.
Okay. And then this is the medium one. You got smaller and bigger.
No, this is the biggest one.
This is the biggest one. Yeah. Okay, so 12, and then you have 4. The other ones are
12 as well. That's 36 foot.
Yeah.
There's also the maximum number of people is 36.
Yeah.
And the 32 is 10.
Good business.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable at least.
Do you go out as a captain sometimes, or you just...
No, we have a team of captains available. So the good thing is, if you need a captain, generally it would be the same captain,
who gets to know you.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
correct.
Right. Sotogrande. I mean, I know if you're in the islands near Ibiza, Mallorca, there are places to go and to little islands and that sort of thing. Here, what are the sort of day trips you can do, or maybe can you go for a couple of days and maybe stay out and come back as well if you want to go further up the coast? Would you do that?
You can generally do a one night. I mean, basically you can book the boat for 2 days, days subsequent.
Because if you went to Ceuta, want to stay the night and then come back.
Correct. So you go to Ceuta, Morocco. You can go to Malaga, for example, as well. Stay the night there, or you can do it as a day trip as well. I mean, both are possible.
Right.
Depends on what you like, right? I mean, if you would like to go to Ceuta, you can do that. Have a lunch over there, come back. It's 1.5 hour roughly east direction. Or you can go there, have a leisurely day over there, and a lunch and a dinner, and book a hotel and come back.
I don't know. Is there anything that we haven't covered in terms of you? It's great to have you on the podcast. The idea of having someone who's come here to retire but not retire, in the sense that you have an activity, which is great. I think we all need to do that, even if we retired from what we did. Someone who's found Sotogrande, looked for the school for their children. The children went through. I know they've both done very well, gone off to really good universities, and stayed local. Certainly Felix has stayed local. I don't know about your daughter. You found your niche, if you see, in the boating swing. You're not a polo player. You're not a golfer. You're not, so there's something for everybody here. Tom, thank you very much for being on the podcast. I think it's been very good and very interesting for our audience to hear from someone like yourself who's been around the world but ended up in Sotogrande because it's one of the best places in the world to be.
We love it here. Thank you very much, Charlie.
Thank you.